It's good coffee. What is up, guys? It is Brandon here. Okay, so today I want to touch on the 5 most important decisions to make in your 20s. And if you guys may or may not know, I'm 28 years old. I was fortunate to have a family, an immediate family that, could teach me financial ways. They're pretty successful in life, and I was very fortunate to have a family that could teach me about saving money, about investing, and then the different ways to basically get ahead in life. So with that being said, I feel like I have a good understanding of what to do in your 20s to set you up for your 30s and beyond. All right, so let's get into the first tip. And the first tip is something when you're young, you're probably not thinking about, and it's a retirement account, whether it's a Roth or a 401k. Employer matching, finding an employer that will match a decent percentage of your yearly salary to what you contribute into the account is very, very beneficial for you, and it's something that's going to help you get ahead. So when you're first getting out of college, getting your first job, you're probably looking for something that's as high as paying as possible, right? But that's not the only thing. Benefits are really expensive. So whether that be medical, whether that be dental, those are super expensive to pay on your own. So you want to make sure that you're getting a job that pays for a majority of that and has good providers, but also on top of that, matches your retirement account for what you put in. Usually companies will do, anywhere from 2 to 6, sometimes even more percent of your annual salary. So you're going to want to find a job that will actually do that for you, because in the long run, it's going to be most beneficial to you. So this retirement fund matching is really something that's basically free money. You're putting in a percentage, and your employer will match that percentage up to a certain amount of your annual salary. So like I said, anywhere from 2 to 6% is the norm. So this is just free money that the employer is giving you on top of what they're paying you for your normally monthly salary. So it's really a no-brainer. Find a job that has a good retirement account match. All right, so let's get into the second tip, and that's opening up a brokerage account. Now, you may be thinking, what's the difference between a brokerage account and a retirement account? Well, a retirement account isn't liquid at all, meaning you can't pull that money out right now, at least without a penalty. Whereas a brokerage account, if you set one up yourself and you put your own money into that, it's basically just like cash, right? Depending on what you invest in. So opening up a brokerage account and investing in things like, well, this is if you're not super experienced, which most people aren't, investing in things like index funds, mutual funds, ETFs, things like that, where basically it's a fund of a whole bunch of different companies combined into one fund that is one price. So it's very easy to keep track of, and you don't really have to do much, because most of the time it's traded by the person who's managing the fund, and sometimes even you pay like a small little fee, or sometimes there's no fee funds. But it's very important to start getting into the habit of A, contributing to your retirement account from your employer match, and B, contributing to your own brokerage account where you can physically see your money grow and basically be able to, if you wanted to, take money out of that brokerage account whenever you want. And opening up a brokerage account is super easy to do. Most large banks have it, like for example, Wells Fargo or Bank of America has Merrill Edge. There's Fidelity. There's a whole bunch of different brokerage firms. Just see which one is right for you. Open up the account, start contributing to it, and then also basically just gain knowledge on what you're investing in. Talk to people who might be in the stock market already. See if you can set up an appointment with a financial advisor. But I promise you, opening up a brokerage account and contributing to it and basically watching the world economy and making decisions will do more for you than you will ever know. All right, number 3, and this is one of my favorite ones, is delayed gratification. And what do I mean by that? You might not have heard that term before, you might have heard the term before. So delayed gratification is putting off that thing that you want now for a later date because you don't need it and most likely you can't afford it. So whether that be a brand new car, or whether that be, one of the nicer apartment complexes, or whether that be this or that, a Louis Vuitton bag, a Louis Vuitton wallet, whatever. Delayed gratification. If you're in your 20s, most likely you're not making that money to buy exactly what you want. And if you are, it's still not a good idea because, again, you're only in your 20s. You need to be saving that money. You need to be investing that money into assets that will grow your net worth. So delayed gratification, I can't stress this enough, is huge. You have to have the mental mindset to know that I don't need this now. I'll be able to get it in the future, but I do not need to basically scrape pennies together to be able to buy this now to look rich. Okay, and the fourth tip is basically on living. So, whether you're renting a house or you're renting an apartment or you're living with your parents or your friends, it's not going out and, in your 20s buying into the hottest area, right, where you can walk to all the bars and this and that, because the costs are going to be way up. Live with your parents or live with roommates as long as you can. That makes financial sense, right? I'm not saying live it with your parents or live with roommates till you're 30 years old, but in your 20s, and this is the only decade, I believe, from your early 20s to when you hit 30, it's socially acceptable to live with others and not on your own, right? Live with your family for a little bit, or live with a few roommates to cut down on that rent cost. Because rent is really some of the biggest expenses that people have, whether they have a mortgage or whether they rent an apartment somewhere, or a townhouse or whatever. It's usually a couple thousand a month or $1,500 a month. That's one of your biggest expenses. So if you can cut that down to half or what have you, and save that money and invest it into something else that will make you more money, that is something that's going to be key to getting you ahead in life. All right, so tip number 5, and I lied, this is actually my favorite thing to do out of the tips on how to basically live in your 20s to set you up for your 30s and beyond. And that is creating a budget for yourself. And I don't know how I started doing this, but because no one I know actually does this, but I created an Excel spreadsheet with different formulas where I punch in my salary, I punch in from my 9 to 5, I punch in all the extra income I'm making from whether that be stocks or influencer posts online, or my business's income that I personally own, my business, or what have you. It's that the 9 to 5 income, it's excess income, and then it's all my expenses, and it's all listed there, whether that be utilities, whether that be my mortgage payment, my car payment, etc. And then it spits out a number at the bottom that says, Brandon, you've saved this much amount of money this month. And it's something that's just so satisfying about that, knowing that I'm plugging in all my numbers. This is what I paid for gas. This is what I paid for electricity. This is what I paid for my mortgage. This is what I paid for my car payment. This is what I brought in income from this, and that, and my 9 to 5. And this is how much I saved this month. So having a budget and sticking to it and really just tracking and being able to visualize what you're doing each and every month is just one of the most important things. There's so many people who have credit cards and they're just spending away and racking up a balance, not paying off the full amount, maybe paying the minimum every single month. They have no idea what subscriptions they have to Netflix, to Hulu, to Sling, to YouTube TV, etc., Disney Plus, what have you. They have no idea what they're even paying for. All they know is they're basically breaking even or maybe making a little bit of money, but most people, I can guarantee you, do not know how much money they're saving each and every month. So I cannot stress this enough. Make a budget, download one off the internet of someone who has Excel spreadsheet, or just keep track of it in a notebook. Keep track of what you're spending and what you're making and how much you're saving each and every month. That's one of the best things you can do in your 20s to set yourself up for success in the future. All right, guys, well, I really hope you enjoyed my 5 tips on the best things to do in your 20s to get ahead. If you have any questions on anything I covered, or feel like I should have added other stuff in there that I didn't cover that you do in your 20s, drop a comment below and we can talk it out in the comments as I get back to everyone. Alright guys, well before you go, hit that like button and I will see you in the next video.